Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Jordan Goodman, he's been on the show, I think, several times over the years, and he's a money guy. He knows a lot about what's happening on the financial front. What better program for you to be on than The Price of Business? How are you, sir?
Great to be with you, Kevin.
Yeah, moneyanswers.com. But tell us also where others have seen you.
Oh, all over the place. I happen to be in Los Angeles today. I just did a national TV show that'll be on today called The Home and Family Show. I've been on Fox, The View, NBC News, all kinds of different places. And I'm on radio shows like this all over the country. I love to help people with all their financial issues. And there's a lot of financial issues these days, Kevin.
Okay, wait a minute. You've been on The View?
I was on The View 4 times, absolutely.
4 times?
I hear you and Whoopi are very tight. Is that right?
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's funny. That's like one of the only shows I think I would definitely not do, and I'm a media whore. So anyway,
your limits, Kevin. That's
we have our limits. We have our limits. By the way, I do want to mention to the listener, if you go to priceofbusiness.com today, there's information of a nationally syndicated show I'm on Sunday evening, so you can learn more about that. Thanks for reminding me, Jordan. Hey, tell me about first of all your website.
Yeah, moneyanswers.com has loads of resources. The idea is, there's a lot of things out there people don't really know about that can really help them in all kinds of areas. So I have links and phone numbers and websites and videos and all kinds of things throughout that. And I also take emails from listeners all the time and glad to help them. I mean, one of the big things I'm seeing right now is people are just petrified by the stock market being so high, bond yields being so low, and cash pretty much earning zero. If you've got CDs, money market funds, treasury bills, you know in advance you're going to earn nothing on it. At least it's not like in Europe, Kevin, where literally it's negative. If you have a 10-year Swiss bond, it is now minus 1% for 10 years. It's just crazy.
So they're literally taxing you.
That's one of the things I'm hearing a lot, is what to do with your money where you earn some decent yield but don't have a lot of risk. And that's something I'd like to give you some suggestions on. Okay,
so that bond, and that Swiss bond is actually taxing you rather than making you money.
Exactly. Yeah, you give them money, and you know over 10 years you're going to get back 98 or 99 cents on the dollar. You're not going to earn anything. You're paying them to hold your money, basically. It's like an Alice in Wonderland world. I asked somebody, why are you buying a bond at minus 1%? He says, well, they think they'll make money when it drops to minus 2%. It's a capital gain on things falling further. It's kind of a strange world we're in.
Yeah, I thought ours was messed up, but that's even worse. Ours is messed up, by the way. So how are you suggesting people make money in our
so here's
economy?
Something I've been doing myself, which might be helpful to the listeners.
Yeah.
I'm doing what are called commercial mortgage bridge loans, and they get 6% over 1 year, monthly cash flow, and then you get your money back at the end of the year. And there is a website related to that, which is commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. So here's how they work. They lend to commercial real estate projects, hotels, shopping centers, apartment buildings, medical buildings, things like that need money that can't get it because the banks are so super tight these days. Because of all the Dodd-Frank and all the other regulations, forget it. I mean, you just can't get loans from the banks for short-term projects like this. So they go to the private market, get a bridge loan, do their project, get it done, pay interest along the way, pay principal at the end, and now their project is done, and they pay a little bit of a higher rate of interest. The loan originator is charging about 10%, and they keep 4%, which is what covers the cost, but you as the investor get 6% on 100% of your money. So the 6% is a lot better than 0, I would say. So again, there's a website related where you can find out more, commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com, or I'm always glad to take emails about that at moneyanswers.com.
Yeah, that's really good, really good. How long have you had Money Answers?
Let's see, I started in 1993, so it's been like, 22 years now, something like that. Doing it a long, long time.
You have the Money Answers radio show. What is that platform?
So that's the Money Answers radio show is a weekly show on what's called the Voice America Business Network, which is the largest online radio network out there in the world. And I've been doing that for about 9 years as well, and I interview all kinds of famous people on that show, and there's a whole archive. You can listen to it later as well. I've interviewed probably the most famous people in the world out there, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's fun. I get to do that, too, on The Price of Businesses. I have to pinch myself that, I get to do this for a living. It's pretty amazing. So talk a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of the macro situation, in terms of the economy.
I think it's slowing down. I really do think the economy is slowing in many ways. We're being dragged down by the oil patch. I mean, you're well aware of that, and you're there. All the places that a year ago were super hot, North Dakota, Texas, Oklahoma, Alaska, are really hurting right now because you're seeing there's been well over 100,000 layoffs and more every week. Last week, I think Schlumberger was laying off another 11,000 or something like that. That is really hurting the economy because those are high-paying, growing jobs that is a definite drag on the economy. So the way I'm putting it about the oil sector is the pain has been concentrated and quick, and the pleasure is diffuse and delayed because the pain is coming right away with all these layoffs and the hurt in the oil patch. The pleasure of lower gas prices, it's helping consumers, but they're, for the most part, not going on wild spending sprees. They're saving a lot of it. They're still fearful out there. So the drop in oil prices has, in some ways, been more of a negative than a positive, at least in the short term. And then you've got all these troubles in the third world. Brazil is in trouble. China's slowing down. All those things are slowing the world economy down. We depend on that. And then on top of that, you have the U.S. dollar being very strong is making it hard for U.S. companies to compete overseas. Just this morning, Caterpillar's earnings came out weaker than expected, General Motors and others. It's just hurting a lot of U.S. multinationals in a big way. So I think the economy is slowing. And the result of that, I do not think the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates at all this year. I'm going to stick my neck out on that because I just don't think they need it. There's no inflation to be battled back, and it would hurt the whole competitive situation. It would make the dollar go up even more, which makes our companies even less competitive. So I know there's a lot of hand-wringing about this, but I don't think the Fed's about to move anytime soon.
Yeah, interesting. Talking to Jordan Goodman. By the way, you can check out his website, moneyanswers.com. I know I do. It's a phenomenal source of information. Can you, just out of curiosity, and this is a business show, what is your exact business model for your company?
Well, my business model, I do a lot of writing, and I've done 13 books. I give speeches. I gave a speech recently to a bunch of realtors and dentists. I can help with all kinds of people. So I'm kind of a public educator and get paid to do it. I have lots to do it and have lots of books and things.
Yeah, that's cool. And talk a little bit, and you were talking about, the fuel price situation. Of course, I'm loyally Texan, love Texas, of course, certainly want our economy to be robust. But, I guess, there is some hope because in some ways, gold is a commodity, kind of like precious metals are, and you have robust, fuel rather, gasoline is a commodity like precious metals, and that, cheap when it's cheap in that area, it certainly sends a certain positive message, not only in terms of being cheaper to travel from point A to point B, but all the goods you buy in stores that are made with petroleum-related products. The ripple effect is rather profound.
The benefit is going through the economy, but I'm finding a lot of businesses are not passing it on, Kevin. So, for example, FedEx still has a fuel surcharge. It's like, what happened to that? If oil's at 55 instead of 100. Airlines are not really cutting their airfares, even though their cost of fuel has gone down dramatically. Truckers, the same thing. So I think they're taking that lower fuel price and keeping it as profits, which is good for shareholders, but you're not really seeing it pass through to the consumer in any major way that I'm seeing.
Talk a little bit about the more mature investors, someone who's been doing this for quite some time. What kind of things should they be doing with their money?
Well, I think you want to be in the growth areas of the economy. Certainly biotech is one area that's got a lot of potential, either directly some of the big companies like Celgene, Gilead Sciences, Biogen, or you could do an ETF that has biotech. That's certainly going to be a growth area. I still like an Apple that's coming out with the watch. I guess tomorrow is the first day it's going to go on sale. I think that's going to be a bigger success than people expect, and I think Apple stock has been good. You want to be in the innovators who are doing well. I would not be in the old line companies that are going to get hurt by the strong dollar. That would be where I'd be concentrating, as well as something like that. Bridge loans, there's a lot of fear out there, Kevin. There's a lot of fear. I talk to people all the time. They're worried about another 2008. Some people still haven't gotten over 2001 and the dot-com crash. So that's why they're wanting to keep their money safe, and that's why these bridge loans have been so good for a lot of folks.
Jordan Goodman, he's been our guest. He's with moneyanswers.com. He has 13 books. I suggest you read all of them, or at least some of them. Jordan, thanks so much for being with us.
All right. Thanks so much, Kevin. Appreciate it.
You bet. When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here can be found over there at usdailyreview.com. And you're listening to The Price of Business.